call the meeting to order, and we ask for a moment of silent prayer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Roll call, Mrs. Frank.
Mayor Kindle,
Present.
Councilwoman Costantino.
Present.
Councilman Jenny.
Here.
Councilwoman LaPratt.
Here.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Present.
Councilman Tucson.
Present.
Acting City Manager Szymanski.
Here.
City Attorney DeWally.
Here.
Okay.
All right, that takes us to, I need a motion to approve the minutes.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'll offer a motion to accept, receive, and file the minutes of the regular city council meeting held January 17th, 2024, and the special city council meeting held January 29th, 2024. To receive and file the beautification commission meeting of August 14th, 2023. To receive and file the library board meeting December 21st, 2023. And the election commission meeting held February 1st, 2024.
Support.
Discussion?
Madam Mayor, the only thing I see is on page 12 of our agenda from the library board meeting, it's Dawn Drozd, D-R-O-Z-D is the spelling of her name.
We don't change their minutes.
Okay.
Those are their minutes.
Yeah, it's
right.
their minutes.
Thank you, though.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, that takes us to public comment on agenda items only. So if you would like to speak on the agenda items, please step up to the podium. Okay, seeing none, I need a resolution for the consent agenda.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I make the resolution to approve the consent agenda items 1 through 13.
Support.
Any discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
there's a approval of accounts payable listing that I have a question about or concern with, and that is number 129255, which is our page 25 or page 3 out of 5 account payable pages. And this is for Irma Hayes Productions. On January 3rd, we paid $4,875. We were told that this is a combined effort between the high school and the city. And today we're being asked to pay $3,375, which comes to $8,250. I believe it is the same vendor and the same event. And so I have a problem because I know that anything that we are asked to approve that's over $5,000 should come as a separate item for approval. And this seems to have been broken up into 2 items. I hate to say kind of flying under the wire here. And I'm just curious as to why the decision was made to give this to us in this way, rather than coming to us beforehand and asking for the full amount, or at least letting us know that it was going to be $8,250.
Okay, the full costs were not known at the time. Those floats were from the Detroit Parade Company. Lots of people may not be familiar with the process. I want to say, taking the floats from the warehouse, there were police escorts that needed to be, to accompany the floats to get them through the traffic lights, to get them from where the old Lynch Road automotive plant used to be to the city of Harper Woods and back and stored. They're not cheap, and at the same time, we were lucky to have got them, and they're very expensive.
Right, but still, we were not informed before the fact, or approval was not sought from the city council before the fact.
We didn't have the cost ahead of time. And I want to say that we were not going to haggle with the Detroit Parade Company and spoil it for the high school students that earn the Division IV championships.
Okay, we were also told that monies were being collected that would help to defray this cost. Have we received any kind of, it's a combined effort with the high school?
Right.
Have we received any kind of cost from any other source?
We just got the final bill, so now we can contact the high school, the school district for their input, because that would be something that would be reflected at a later date.
All right, as long as we're made aware
Yes,
of what
you will be made aware because it was a joint effort. It wasn't just on the city of Harper Woods.
That's good. It's a lot of money for us to absorb for one parade. So
Well,
I know
the
it's a
parade
special
company
event.
is expensive.
And this was a once-in-a-lifetime event. This is the first time the city has ever had a football championship. So it was a big deal. There was a lot of effort, a lot of pieces to put together, and especially at the last minute. I don't want to say that it almost didn't happen, but there were quite a few details that needed to be ironed out. And, things like this, sometimes the cost, you work them out after everything is tallied up, and that's why it happened this way. We knew that the $4,000, those costs were going up front, but some of the other costs that were associated with moving, directing, police, just everything else that was involved in it, we didn't know what those costs were until after the event.
Okay.
Are there any further discussion?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
On page 36 of our packet, on a bill to McKenna, there was a consult with the Planning Commission Chair regarding history of marijuana ordinance. It looks like, is that one person meeting with McKenna for an hour and a half? And when did this occur? The bill was on the 21st, and the Planning Commission meeting was on the 20th. I was just curious, how this came about.
Are you talking about the consent agenda?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The McKenna payment.
The McKenna payment. It was $165 for an hour and a half consult with the PC chair.
I'll get more detail on that.
Any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote, Mrs. Frank.
Councilwoman Costantino.
Yes.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Councilwoman LaPrat.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
Okay, that takes us to old business, and since we have none, new business, city manager's report.
Okay, item G1, Milk River Operation and Maintenance. Mayor and Council, attached is an invoice from Wayne County for the operation and maintenance of the Milk River Drain for the period January through March 2024. This is in accordance with the budget amounts set by the Drainage District. It is recommended that this payment be approved. Mayor, a resolution is recommended.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'll make the resolution to approve payment to Wayne County in the amount of $356,130.75 for the drainage and maintenance of the Milk River Drain for the period January 1 through March 31st, 2024.
Support.
Any discussion?
Yeah, Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I know this is a bill that we hate to pay every year.
I didn't understand you.
Us it. So every quarter, this is a bill we hate to pay every quarter.
Right.
And I'm looking at, I was looking at the, North Point, and it starts looking pretty good over there. I mean, the buildings are looking really nice, and I see where they having some of the retention pools in there. So I'm gonna keep a good eye on what we're paying now and see if these retention pools are actually gonna save us some water. That save us on our water bill some. I'm looking forward to that a little bit.
Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, Mrs. Frank.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Councilwoman LaPrat.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
Councilwoman Costantino.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
Okay, that takes us to call the audience. You have 3 minutes to come up and address council.
Lynn Zolak, live at 19281 Beaconsfield here in Harper Woods for 45 years. Beacon School is getting to look like a dump with all the people just pulling up on the grass. You got ruts. I have contacted the police department. They're not doing nothing. What's going on? Is it because they don't want to be bothered? There's people that come here that don't even live here that's destroying our community, and we work hard to do it, to be proud of our city. We don't need to see this. My second concern is Beaconsfield and 8 Mile. Flashing red light. It's been like that for 5 months. The county hasn't done nothing about it. The police is not concerned about it. So, where do we go?
That's MDOT,
Yeah.
Okay.
State of
Okay.
Michigan.
No.
And then your other concern about Beacon School will be something that you need to address with the Harperwood School District.
Well, the police could give more tickets to people that are illegally parked. Correct? So, I mean, there's rules and regulations for Beacon School to pick up the kids.
Mm-hmm.
The GSRP, they don't have special privileges to park on Beaconsfield on city property, destroying the grass. They don't even live here. So, I mean, where does the enforcement start? Before a kid gets killed,
Right.
then our city will be sued.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else would like to speak?
Jerry Binder, I live on Washington Hall. If you were ever raised on a farm or had anything to do with a farm, they've got Beaconsfield by the Beaconsfield grade school, looking like a pig pen. They just drive up and there's tracks, and I don't know if you guys have ever driven down, taken a look at this. But I guess the traffic was so heavy, one guy or one woman turned the car, went towards the school, turned around, came out on Beaconsfield and left. The tracks are there. We don't have any police enforcement. They used to have a police car setting out by watching the high school kids getting out, eliminating fights. Why can't we have that there? The sign right there, no parking, standing. Standing means you're in the car, okay? And that's what they're doing. I bicycle through the summer, fall. I'm bicycling along early in the morning. I watch a car that's sitting there to discharge their kid. The kid opens the back door, gets out. He was obviously eating his breakfast on a paper plate. All he did was threw it down on the ground and went off to school. What are we turning into? Just do what you want to do. I attended a couple of our ordinance meetings when they went through all the trouble saying your garbage can cannot be visible from the street. Take a ride down Washtenaw, Kingsville, or not Kingsville, Kenosha, any of those streets. They put them up by the front of the house. When are we going to get some enforcement? Perhaps if we came up with a bounty for when these guys write a ticket, they get an extra $2 or something along that line, they might do their damn job. It is getting ridiculous in the city. For the winter, I put the bike away and I go for a walk. I'm going down Beaconsfield. There's a guy who lives on one of the corners who's always complaining about the guy going down his block, the very next house, parks his vehicles right across the sidewalk. I'm walking along and just happened to be my luck. Here's a police car approaches Beaconsfield. And I said, "Excuse me, officer, I gotta ask you a question." He windowed down and he says, what's the problem? I said, "Do we have an ordinance in Harper Woods about parking a car blocking a sidewalk?" He said, "Yeah, we do." I said, "Well, what about that?" I continued my walk. You know what he continued? His drive. He took off. This is what we're getting. What do I want you guys to do? I want you guys to get heavy on these guys. Somebody has to do it. They've really gotten out of hand. They do exactly what they want to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Reginald Tabaron, Rose Court. As a member of the NEDC, my wife and I, we represent the NEDC group. And so we have a couple of events that's coming up. One is coming up Saturday, February the 17th. It's a Games On NEDC Game Day. It's going to be Saturday, February the 17th from 1:30 to 4 o'clock at the Michigan Mortgage Exchange, which is located on 19934 Harper Avenue, Harper Woods, Michigan. Come join us in the fun. We want to do some positive things in our community. We hear a lot of negative things going on in the community, but we want to let you know that we want to do some positive things in our community as well. And so I'm going to pass this out to you, and then I want to talk about something else. I was having this, what's your name again? Yes, Christian. We were just talking about the responsibilities and we noticed that a lot of things is going on in our community that we can really try to point fingers down onto, and rightfully so. But you know, I have always found it in my heart to try to keep Beaconsfield as clean as possible. And you know, it's a challenge, and one man can't really do it all. But as I was talking to Christian, I started thinking about what Grandma always told me, that, you know, we have to do things out of the kindness of our hearts, and we must be thankful for what was given to us as a gift. And this earth was given to us as a gift. And so therefore, we must sometimes do things that we don't like to do, like pick up somebody else's trash, whatever the situation may be. But we gotta maintain, we gotta realize that it was a gift, and that we should try to do the best we can to show our appreciation for the gift that we received, which was this earth. And so I hear we like to point fingers and blame everybody, but you know, rightfully so, if that's your opinion. But if you do things out of the kindness of your heart and just do it just because, you know, do the right thing, then you appreciate what you're doing for the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Janetta Tabron, 19893 Rose Court. I am also on the Neighborhood Economic Development Coalition Committee. And we will be having a mental health seminar also on Wednesday, February 21st. We will have a couple of guest speakers, and we would like for you all to come out. And the guest speaker will be Miss Tracy Purnell. She is from the Family Center of Grosse Pointe in Harper Woods. So if you're available, come on out Wednesday the 21st. And also, I'm sorry, she was speaking about the trash and the drivers at Beacon Elementary. We will be having a board meeting tomorrow. If you're eligible or if you have time, come on out to the board meeting and voice your concerns. Thank you.
What time is the mental health?
What time is the meeting, Janelle?
The mental health.
7 o'clock tomorrow.
No, that,
I'm sorry, 6:30. Thank you. Thank you.
Where?
All right.
Where?
High school auditorium.
For the board meeting at 6:30 in the auditorium.
no,
the
the,
mental
okay,
health.
the mental health.
For the mental health?
Yes.
Oh, it's also at the mortgage,
The same place. They,
Yeah.
we got the paperwork coming down.
Oh, okay.
he's passing it out.
Well, the audience.
You know,
All right, thank you guys
Okay,
very
thank you.
much.
Good afternoon. Madam Mayor, City Council members. My name is Salonia Turner. This is my husband Melvin. We moved in Harper Woods 3 years ago. We retired Southfield. We're retired now.
Talking to the mic.
Talking to the mic. Okay, well, the question that I have is very concerning because our taxes went up to $6,000. They doubled. They doubled. We only been in Harper Woods for 3 years. They were $3,000, now they're $6,000. And they were saying to us, because the fire of the city, taxes went up, but double? I don't know what's going on with that, and that's not figuring out with our taxes for the whole year. City, fire, water, police, and everything else. So someone needs to let us know and explain to us why our taxes is doubled.
Okay, Mayor, I'll handle that. You moved in a city, what, about 3 years ago?
Yes, sir?
Yeah, what has taken place, there's a couple things that have taken place. Your property has become uncapped, and the city, according to the state of Michigan's laws, we have to assess at half the sales price. Those things should be disclosed to you when you buy a home, but that's a common complaint. When people buy a house, there has been a lot of people that you may have purchased a house from that were still under Proposition A, which kept the taxes low. Realtors show the low taxes, and what happens is when the property becomes uncapped, then it goes from the taxes that were formerly paid to half the sales price, and that's with all the millages, taken into consideration too, and plus an inflation factor that's hit everybody across the whole country.
I understand.
Yeah, we don't have any leverage in that whatsoever. All those taxes that are on the bill, a very small portion of that goes to the city of Harper Woods. People pay taxes for the school districts, both Harper Woods School District, both Detroit. They pay for the zoo, Smart, Wayne County, RESA, and they're paying them at, like I said, half the sales price. We do have 3, I want to say, review your assessment meetings a year, And if you think that you are not being assessed properly, okay, what can happen is you can contact our assessor. Her name is Holly Koza, and you can set up a meeting and bring in any kind of information on, you know, house values that have sold in your area, but that's the general way that assessments are worked. You know, not only in Harper Woods, but across the whole state of Michigan.
Well, the only problem we have is our mortgage payment. We paid over $5,000 more this past year than we did the year before.
Yeah, what usually happens is when those taxes, when it uncaps, the banks, what they'll do is they will pay that escrow, and then they'll reevaluate your escrow account for the next year, and they'll take into consideration the shortage. It will usually straighten out after about a year, but you have to make up the back shortage.
Well, it's been a year and we still paying over $420 more per month than we did when we moved in.
Yeah, like I said, you
and
can.
I'm retired, so that's a bit much.
Yeah, no, I understand. That's a common complaint. I mean, across the whole entire state of Michigan.
Well, can I ask you, is there a cap? You said it has to be capped. What's the percentage for capping?
No, it's, what formula the state uses is they take your sales price and you pay taxes on 50% of that. Whatever that value is on the price of the home that you paid, half of that is going to be used to assess your taxes. Now, the people that probably lived there before you, or the people that you bought the house from, they had their property capped back in the 1990s through Proposition A, and they just stayed with it. And we're seeing that's happening quite a bit. You know, the folks, not only here, but across the entire state of Michigan.
I understand everybody's taxes is going up, not only here, throughout the whole
Yeah.
state of Michigan, but double. That's not what I'm not understanding that part. But I am going to get in touch with Miss Holly Okosis. What's her name?
Koza, C-O-Z-Z-A, she will explain that in detail.
Is that the same lady that be up there at the window for the water department?
No. She's our assessor. She comes in every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday?
Yeah,
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
thank you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. I'd like to make mention of a incident that occurred 6 months ago, and the reason why.
Your name, sir?
I'm sorry. Oh, name. I'm sorry. Robert Koski, 21206 Briarstone. I bring up this old matter, this 6-month-old matter, because of a recent incident in the news, and so I'll make this brief. 6 months ago, it was on Friday, August the 18th. I was leaving my home at 6:50 a.m. and I noticed a pit bull mix, a dog running loose, right in the Tyrone, Briarstone area. And I immediately called the police, and the dispatcher said, well, we'll have a police officer out there. And I said, I'll keep you apprised of where the dog's movement is. So I immediately got into my car and followed the dog up Park Drive, the entrance driveway to the Park Place apartment complex. And the dog worked its way back behind the building and around the dumpsters. I made a subsequent call to the dispatcher telling him that now it's over by the dumpsters. Then the dog moved, about a half hour transpired, and the dog then worked its way through the gateway into Salter Park. There were 2 joggers in the area. Prior to that, I warned a woman who was walking her dog and saying there's a pit bull mix that's loose. And she said, oh, thank you for telling me that. And she made a 180 and went back down Tyrone, back towards Littlestone. She didn't want to get anywhere near that loose dog. The dog was in Salter. I warned the joggers. The joggers, strangely and kind of ignorantly, didn't seem to care. They continued on their way around the jogging paths at Salter. So I made another call to the dispatcher, said it's in Salter Park. And another half hour elapsed. And I said, is there gonna be a police officer coming? I said, oh, we'll get one as soon as possible. All right. And I waited and waited, and finally, an hour and a half later, at 8:20, I called it 6:50, now it's 8:20. I asked the police officer arrived, and I told him that this dog has been running around. Now, luckily, the dog was not, did not seem to be aggressive, because the police officer approached the dog, but wouldn't come towards him. The dog was wary. I went home, got some dog biscuits, brought him back. The officer then tossed biscuits to the dog. We were able to keep the dog there until Grosse Pointe Animal Adoption Agency or Society was able to come by. And the lady was able to put a leash on the dog and get the dog, taken. Good news, the dog was not, found a new home. They were able to help the dog, find a new home. So anyway, the reason I bring this up is because I was concerned about the 1.5 hour delay in police response to this. This could have been a dangerous animal. And the reason I came here this evening was because of an incident exactly 1 week ago
Sir,
today.
your time is up.
But I said, if I could, this is very important, and I'll make this very brief. We had a man mauled to death in Detroit on West Chicago Street.
Yes,
by a
sir,
pit bull. And you probably saw it in
recognize
the
that.
news. And he's 35 years old, a father of 5. And I think the police response was not good.
Okay.
In fact, the dispatchers seemed to be had a nonplussed, lackadaisical attitude to what I was saying, and and the response time was, in my opinion, unsatisfactory.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Please, we want to be cognizant of your time. I hate to cut people off when you're trying to explain something, but it's really within the framework of 3 minutes. Please stay within that framework.
Start now.
You ready?
Larry Hakeem, Little Stone Road. Couple notes of interest. I think it was the last meeting, there was a whole lot of conversation and to do about Grosse Pointe Animal Adoption and taking on Grosse Pointe because nobody, the other vet, her dog retired and all that, and all the over concern about we can't house dogs in the police department and all that. Obviously, none of you were aware at that time that Grosse Pointe Animal Adoption was in the process of securing a new building on Harper that's 4 times the size of the space she has now, which is next door to Harper Woods Veterinary Hospital, in order to take care of the responsibilities and her commitments to take on the Grosse Pointes along with Harper Woods. So instead of 1,400 square foot in her little building, she's gonna have almost 5,000 square foot in her new building. So anything the city can do to help support her in that area would be greatly appreciated. Another quick comment regarding Councilwoman Sawicki's comment regarding the price of the parade. I remember, if you check the minutes or watch the video, at the meeting when this dollar figure was discussed, I specifically asked how much this was going to cost the city of Harper Woods, and the answer I was given then was it's 4,000 some odd dollars, and that's the money we had to prepay, and then the contributions that were made were going to come back to us to replace the $4,000 we had to pay out. There was never a discussion about cops and red lights and extended bill and going to be more. It was very specific, just like Ms. Sawicki implied, that first number was the number responsible to Harper Woods that we weren't responsible for the whole bill, but that was gonna be our bill, and that there would be contributions to replace that 4,000. So, as far as the answer we got tonight about all the other added costs and all that, I don't know how you're gonna deal with that, but I don't think we should pay it. Quick note, the website needs to be updated. It says that we need we still have a vacancy on the planning commission, which we don't. We're full at 9, so please update the website. The other concern I have is for my street, Little Stone, and also, which obviously you don't care about because it's Stanhope, it's Grosse Pointe Woods. Real quick, all these streets, cross streets from Mac to Harper, with all the added retail businesses and restaurants going on Mac Avenue, we're getting more and more semi-trucks and delivery trucks racing down our streets to get to the freeway. After they drop their load on Mac Avenue, they're not going back to 7 Mile, they're not going up to 8 Mile. My street, for one, nobody stops at the 3 stop signs anyway. Bad enough, Tyrone School's right there, and they race through that. The residents do. I don't expect these semi-truck drivers to stop any faster than the residents do. And it's becoming a real nightmare. And I've been complaining about the traffic around Tyrone School for the 18 years I've lived here. They park on both sides of the street and down the middle of the street when that school's letting out. So, but somebody's got to talk to Grosse Pointe and deal with this delivery truck business. Because I don't live on a highway. Thank you.
Thank
And I
you.
know my 3 minutes and 27 seconds
Yeah,
are up.
Thank you very much.
Next month, I'll talk 2.5 minutes.
Anyone else that needs to speak?
Good evening, council. I'm here for a couple of things. One of them is the deal with Beacon and in front of it. People have been complaining about the schools for a long time, and you guys keep batting it back and forth, but it's time when it takes up and affects our lives. You need to get with the school, who's your buddy, and take and work this out. We got 2 school board members back here, come to the meeting, gone to the meeting. They don't listen either. They bat it back. It's time for you 2 to get together and solve the problem. Beacon has a field that they can cut off and make the parking lot so that the people can pick it up there. When it's the quality of our lives, they don't care, and you guys don't seem to care. Something needs to be done, and it's time to do it. They're destroying property. They don't care how they park, where they park. They park in driveways, in front of driveways. It's time for you 2 to get together. Don't bat it back and forth. People are getting tired. Second of all, the garbage in the alley up on Kelly is ridiculous, and it's blowing down the streets all the way down. And it's not on Kelly, it's the alleys in back of the stores, especially between Roscommon and Woodside. It's ridiculous. It's blowing down the streets. Second of all, the houses. We have what, 3 houses now that are burned up? One of them was a group home, and it's been empty, it's been burned out for over a year and a half, and nobody's done anything about it. I don't know about the other one that totally burned down over on Kenosha. And then you got one at Lansdowne and Woodside. What are we doing about those? Something needs to be done. They're an eyesore, especially the group home. A year and a half, nothing's been done. It's just sitting there. Then the third thing, or the last thing is, you're proposing a new, or trying to get a grant for a new community center. Well, you know, the old community center is up for sale. You might want to think about renting it for the moment or whatever. But you do realize that if you put it in Salter Park,
Your time is up.
Salter Park was built with federal money, which means that if you put the community center there, anybody will be able to use it because it's federally funded park.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? We'll call the audience, call the council. Starting with you, Councilwoman Constantino.
I'll pass today.
Okay. Ivory Toussaint. I had the opportunity, I guess, to actually attend a SIMCOG meeting, or actually get an orientation, which is our Southeastern Michigan Council of Governments. And I was able to find out that this is definitely a funding resource for us. And I'm not sure if we're totally taking advantage of it as much. There's a wonderful plan assistance program, direct funding for local planning projects that move regional plans to priorities. And there's also a money for transportation. I'm always concerned that I think that, and there's also an opportunity for they all give us access to Find a Grant program. So I'm not really sure how much we're really using these resources as much as we should. And I think it's really an opportunity now for our economic development guy, Stephen, to kind of come to our meetings now and then and give us a report on some of the things that are going on some of the funding resources. I mean, Ty Henson used to come every week and kind of give us some updates and let us know about funding sources available to us and that type of thing. And so in the meantime, I'm hoping to look into it a little bit more and learn a little bit more about it. So you'll be hearing a little bit more from me, John.
Sounds good.
Okay, only three things. First of all, we have some board members who were just reappointed today. And so normally we announce their names, but we didn't today. And so I wanted to take a moment to do that right now. Mary Ann Modlin has been reappointed to the Beautification Commission for a 4-year term. Michael I think I'm gonna screw up Michael's name, Andrzejczyk has been appointed also to the Beautification Commission for 4 years. Greg Vargo and David Keene to the Construction Board of Appeals, both for 2-year terms. Adriana Rich to the election, and Debbie Keene to the Election Commission for a 1-year term. Margaret Pointer and Andrea Williams have been appointed to the Planning Commission for 3-year terms each. April Martin and Christopher Drake have been reappointed to the Recreation Advisory Board for 3-year terms each. And there are some vacancies that still exist on various boards. And so if you have an interest in getting involved in the community, Beautification Commission has 3 seats available. The Brownfield Authority has 2 seats available. The Board of Zoning Appeals has 3 seats available. The Library Board is looking for 1 person on their board. The Recreation Advisory Committee has 2 seats available. And Local Officers Compensation Commission has 2 seats available. So consider volunteering some of your time to some of these commissions and boards, because I know that, we're looking for people to fill in. And in order to do that, you need to send a letter of interest along with your resume or online. There's also a form that you can just fill out. But if you're going to write it out, send it to Mrs. Frank, our city clerk, or drop it off at City Hall. All right? And hopefully we'll see some of you who are so active in attending our meetings get involved in some of these boards and commissions if you haven't yet. So there's that. Secondly, this is just a reminder that there is not another council meeting this month. We canceled the second meeting of this month because I know our city manager is not available, but we will be meeting in the normal meeting the beginning of March. And so if you're a regular, then you already know this, but it's good to remind you all. And then finally, happy Valentine's Day. I know I'm a little early, but that's right around the corner, so just wanted to spread the love.
Okay, Tom?
Nothing this evening.
All right, well, I guess I'll be the first one to, Biden was here. He, our president, I believe was the first sitting president we've ever had come and make a visit to Harper Woods. So he came with a giant motorcade, and we had about 40 minutes from the text I got at work to make it from, I was out in Bloomfield, to make it down to They Say. And he walked around and spoke to us each individually. It was, he spent probably a good 4 to 5 minutes with myself and Mayor Pro Tem Williams and Councilman Toussaint. We happened to be sitting together. Told us a little story about when he found out we were on city council, and he said city council members have the hardest job because everybody knows where you live and everybody comes to the microphone with expectations that may or may not always be met. But I told him that we need his help, and he told his staff, get the councilwoman's name and phone number, and we're going to be getting a hold of her. We'll see if that happens. But it was, regardless of how you feel, it was really a thrill, and especially for Harper Woods, our little city, was recognized. You know, he could have went anywhere on his way to the UAW, and he came to our city. So it was quite a moment. So that's all I have.
Good evening, everyone. Just a couple of things. One, about a visit from President Biden. I was really honored to meet him, and I was very honored that he came to, again, our small city. Because like she said, he could have came to any city, but he chose Harper Woods. And I think we even asked him, why did you choose Harper Woods? And he said, because, you're small, you're here. So he came to us. So it was a very nice moment. The other thing is I want to thank the City Council, Mayor, and the community for condolences and sympathy. My mother, Ida Brown, passed on January 25th, and I received a lot of sympathy, condolences, cards, texts, a beautiful plant at the funeral, and I want to thank everyone who attended the funeral and who attended the visitation. I really appreciate everything, and my family appreciated, and it was very heartfelt. So thank you very much for that. Two more things. I know there's some complaints about people putting the garbage cans in front of the house, but I know in the wintertime, a lot of the elderly or people who are physically challenged tend to do that. Also, you'll probably see a little bit more in the wintertime because it's hard for them when the snow starts really falling to take that garbage can all the way around and back, dragging it through the snow. Because I have elderly individuals on my block and people with physical challenges, and I see that that's what they do. They don't do it as much in the summertime, but in the wintertime, because of the snow when it comes, they don't want to have to walk all the way around the house dragging the cans, so they do put it in the front. So I know it is an issue, but I hope the residents could be just a little bit more compassionate in the wintertime, because we do have individuals that do have problems, and it is difficult for them. And then the last thing is February is Black History Month. So I hope everyone goes out and do something this month, learn about someone, something about Black history that you may not have known before. I challenge my students each year to tell me something new, someone new that I have not heard of. If they do, I give them extra credit because I've heard of so many people. So if you get an opportunity, come out, do Motown Museum. You can go to the African American Museum. There are so many events that's going to be out for Black History. In my school, I don't just celebrate it in February. I usually have the reports due in March, because I believe Black History is every day. It's not just a February month, even though it's celebrated in February. So, you know, do something special. Come out and, you know, learn something about someone you haven't known before, because in my opinion, Black history is American history. Okay, and thank you.
Thank you very much. And so, to me, also this time we will also be making changes for city council members. That will be, I need your requests for your different commissions that you're on to see if we're going to make any changes, or if we can, if you want to switch up or whatever. But you need to email me those changes so that by the March meeting, we can have an idea of where each person needs to be and if we need to switch up and whatnot. As it was spoken, we were very blessed to have the president, the first time that a sitting president has ever visited Harper Woods. And it was a really, really, really great event. He spoke to everyone. He taken the time. He really had a really good interaction with Judge Coleman's son. He was so cute. He asked him, was he rich? And he told him. But it was just a perfect interaction with the President of the United States. I don't care whatever your flavor is, but to have the sitting president come to your city was a big deal. And we stepped up to the plate. It was clean. Somebody had an opportunity to clean the area out, so there was no garbage at the time. So it was very nice. I've gotten nothing but kudos from everyone in regards to the visit. I, however, will tomorrow be in Washington, D.C. with the President and the First Lady at their invitation. So once again, I will be presenting the needs of Harper Woods. A lot of things that we cannot do or have not been able to do is budget restraints. So I'm going to ask for more money. I'm going to ask for certain things. We need a new municipal center. Come in today, it was 48 degrees, right? In the building. You know, it's impossible to work under bad conditions like that, you know. So we're cold in the winter and hot in the summer. This building is over 67 years old. It's things that need to be changed and done, and we can only do that. We can't raise any more taxes. If anything, I would love to be able to reduce the taxes as we go along, but that takes other monies coming in. So I'm going to Washington, D.C. for one project, but I'm taking a whole list and letter of some of the requests that we need. And if you don't ask, you don't get. So I will be asking. Also today, I was a part of a press conference that Senator Chan was bringing about. She's bringing about affordability of water, which is not going to be anything on taxpayers or regular, you know, but there is a program that it does for heating and electricity, but they don't do water in that program. And so what they're trying to do is make that all a part of a program that it can be affordable for everyone without it being an additional cost to everyday, the people that do pay their bills. And there's a lot of reasons why some people can't pay their bills, but given the fact that there should be some kind of protection, because you cannot exist in a home without water. So, and in fact, if your water is turned off, they can remove your children from your home, or even if you had elderly people in your home, they can remove them also. But this is a new thing. When I get it all together, I will make sure we post it so that people can understand what Senator Chan is trying to get done. I was glad to be a part of it today because it's something that is needed and absolutely necessary. And other than that,
Madam Mayor,
yes,
I'll make the motion for adjournment.
Support.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Meeting adjourned.